Okay, I've just put out my URL and we should be streaming. At least from what should be happening. YouTube's event system is somewhat finicky. But yeah, today I'm just gonna be playing another Metroid 2 remake, which is a game that was published, then kinda pulled. And I'm just gonna bumble about because this is a test stream and I have no expectation that this will go well. So, let's just boot up the game. Now, I am looking for some feedback, and if you can, who knows if you can actually see it or not, but if you're viewing it, you would see an icon. One of the cards is basically, is this stream good or not? And that's all you need to tell me. Shoot-da-la-boop. Now, I suppose one of the advantages that I have from this is the fact that you basically get the advantage of YouTube's encoding, which means I don't have to deal with any of that stuff. So my CPU is currently at 30%. Let's just swap it over. And of course the game capture thing is not working. Oh, there it goes. It took its time. So, should see that shortly. And I have no idea if the volume's too loud or not, but I do know that it is a bit loud for me, so I'm just going to adjust the volume of the game. These are the things that one does when it comes to these things. So I'll just move that down a little. And yes, I'm using Discord's stream kit to host some kind of chat, mainly because I don't believe in the power of YouTube comments. Who does these days? Right. So let's just get started. As you can see, I played through quite a bit of it. Well, all of it. But yeah, let's just go and start ourselves a new game. Hello, viewer. I have mysteriously decided to decide things. I'm not paying attention to the game whatsoever, and the fact that... Oh. Aren't we off to a great start? So the infrastructure seems to be holding up. Now, I am going to play pretty poorly this time, since I'm trying to do two things at once, which is always a good idea. I just would like to know how the quality is in general, like video, audio, that kind of thing. Is my voice too loud? Is it too quiet? Or is the game too quiet? That's probably the more likely situation, but I can't really monitor any of the outputs right now since I have only one monitor to work with at this point. Zummorr? I'm not really sure what you're trying to say there. should I be saying here on the Discord? Well, feel free to join up. If I've set it up right, you can probably just join and go into the stream chat and start typing away. You will also probably join me on the Stream Talk channel, which is, well, should be able to set it up at some point. I think I set that up right. I have no idea. Isn't that such a good thing to have happen? Oh, my English has gone out the window. Oh, I think I know what's going on. You're in some other voice channel or something. Oh, actually, I think I know what you mean. You're talking on the YouTube comments or chat section or whatever it is that they call it. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just using a Discord channel. If you want to be seen on the stream, you should be able to see the link in the top right corner, right above the chat box. Oh, I can actually use OBS's this preview window to play the game, which is probably not a good idea. Yep. Is it just me or is it moving slower than usual? I swear. Right, preview windows are not a good idea. There we go. Yeah, the stream delay on this is like roughly about 10 seconds or so. It takes a while to see, and plus I'm going backwards and forwards. I'm using my laptop to just observe the stream output. Which I suppose is a second screen, but it's not that great of a second screen. I should probably focus on playing better. The infrastructure's working at least. I'll probably just go for the full hour as scheduled. Now, I was fiddling earlier with one of YouTube's beta features, which was like a custom live page. And to be honest, it wasn't that great, if only for the fact that I couldn't tell it to be unlisted for testing purposes, so this is public, hooray. Nope. I think there's chat going on. If only I had myself synchronized right. Nope, that's just my spam messages. That I was testing earlier. And I have just fallen into lava. Or touched it for the briefest of moments. I suppose SR388, with its notoriety of having earthquakes, is probably... This part is probably just, you know, one big volcano at some point. At least... That's what I think it could be. Interestingly enough, like, I've been to the AM2R speedrunners Discord, and there's... Well, it was interesting, really. It wasn't the chat itself. The chat was kind of dead at this point, but it was interesting to see how one particular person routed it. It's ridiculous. It's like my best time at the moment would have been like an hour 50, I think. But instead, you know, me, 2 hours. And what you got was, you know, with the speedrunner, they basically did it in an hour while skipping a whole bunch of items. And I don't think I'm that good to pull that off. I'll probably have to disable VSync or something. There's a very slight frame change. Lag between input. Small enough not to be bad, but it's noticeable. Yeah. One of the things that I noted was that they used a zero mission style toggle missile rather than using what I'm using, which is the Super Metroid based buttons game. And yeah, it means that I can't pull off fast missile tricks, which is kind of necessary for me to kill some Metroids very quickly. Managed to do it so consistently as well. I'm not sure how. Actually, I record a spot the runner getting charge beam. Of all the days to do a stream, it had to be the day right after I started getting sick. Luckily, the symptoms haven't been too bad, at least at present. It was a lot worse this morning. I'll just check a few things. Yep, your chat messages are coming through, although they have a 90-second disappear rate, which I might turn off when I'm done, because honestly I think it's alright if the chat sticks around a bit. I forget the order of this thing, and I really shouldn't be forgetting the order. I think it's right, left, middle. There we go. A second monitor definitely would be appreciated. Right. Now let's do something silly. Let's just go over to the other side. See if I can't execute a bomb jump properly. We'll find out if it works. I just don't remember the timing for it. Sooner than I think it is. It's kind of throwing me off. And of course I messed it up. So let's try it again, shall we? Yeah, one of the things about AM2R is that going into a morph ball is easy enough to do because you have a dedicated button that's... You can just bind any key to it and you can just do it. This thing's pretty generous with its bomb jump. I couldn't pull this off in vanilla Super Metroid. or any of the other Metroid games. It's slow as molasses if I don't know what to do. Yeah, AM2R has a morph ball button. Ooh, I messed that one up. No problem there. Yeah, I'm using an Xbox One controller. I mean, I was using a DualShock 3, but the thing was really inconsistent with inputs. Oh look, ISO's talking. In another chat. Oh, he finished Metroid Prime 2. I'm just gonna type hooray. Hooray. And I hit caps lock. Right. Back to it. Yeah. I've never quite just gotten into playing with keyboard now that I have a controller to do everything with. And here I am getting Spider Ball because I'm not good at all things. Nope, cough coming out. Yeah, second day in. Unfortunately, the only medicine I have right now is for nighttime, so immediately after this I'm going to be very drowsy. I haven't taken it yet though, so I have to choose whether or not I should go for the cold or whether I should just keep going, albeit with this very hoarse voice. Goodness. I'm sweating myself off because I have my sweater on and it's very warm in this study. Also, I'm saving way too often for any speedrunner. I will attempt to do a certain skip though. At least when we get to it. There will be spoilers ahead, so if you want to mute yourself, feel free to. But yeah, basically, we're probably going to skip power bombs because there's an alternative route that you can go through with only super missiles. I have still not got the strategy for these Metroids down. Better living or sleeping or breathing or something with chemistry. I suppose. But then again, I'd never be able to keep a proper schedule if I was able to attend to my needs all the time. Wasn't too bad, but very missile costly. Oh, look at me messing stuff up. Ah heck, I ran out of missiles! Well, time to make a hasty retreat. Try again some other time. By some other time I mean go back, get missiles and do it again. Well, that sucked. So off I go. So back on topic about watching this one speedrunner go through the whole thing. It was also interesting to see other things like apparently being able to maintain speed booster while in morph ball form. In that you could go from spiraling through the air to morph ball and just keep going and going and going. It was crazy. And I don't think I'd be any good at it, but there's only one way to find out, and that's by playing it. That was much better. And there goes the earthquake. Normally these things would go pretty well, but having to concentrate on everything all at once is kind of leading to my demise. Luckily, this is just a test. A test that is very public. Very open for anyone to watch. Oops. I forgot there was the moonwalk button, basically. You just hold your aim while you move around. Oops. I had one missile too many, so I had to get rid of it. Anyway, that's done. So it's time to move on. Still finally on track again. Except that, which was a poor choice on my part. Oh, almost had it down. Now, one of the more crazier things about the speedrun that I was watching is that they basically skipped everything that was here insofar as what beams were acquired. Beams and other items, so they skipped past, I believe, both various suit and the spring ball in this area. Not sure about beams though. I think they skipped the beams. Extra missiles, why not? Yeah, the moonwalk button is interesting. I haven't used it all that much, so you can see how sloppy I was with actually using it. There was a setting to toggle it on and off in Super Metroid, but I never really used it either, so... Over here we have the various suit. And of course you can only use bombs to get it, so... yeah. And I'm disconnected from the stream talk. Nope, because I'm looking at the wrong window. Yeah, I have two windows of Discord up. One on my monitoring laptop and the other one here on the streaming computer. Who knows? I might have guests. That is, if anyone wants to come on and chat. I'm all very new to all these Discord roles, so... hey, if it works out, it works out. So with Varia, our damage taken is reduced by half. Doesn't make any of these things less annoying though. Right, I think the runner did get wave beam and certainly high jump for this area. I'm not too sure anymore. It's kind of in the past, the distant past. So we only want to go through the door on the right because this gets us to high jump as well as some extra health. Bombs are pretty useful here to deal with those robots. Normally I'd forego missiles, but it's like, it's feeling a bit low at the moment. Right. I suppose Zummorr can hit the chat, provided I can figure out how Discord works. You can be a guest speaker. So you should be able to enter the stream talk. I don't know what you want to talk about. And I've messed this whole section up already. I forget I don't have Springboard yet. Oh dear. You should be able to get into stream chat if, well, the audio channel if I've set things up right. If not, well, that'll be something to sort out. Oh.
Well, let me see if this is working.
It appears to be working. I suppose you'll have the case of the double voice since you're both watching the stream.
Oh, I can just mute the stream, that's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. The music in this is great, though.
Yeah, they definitely put in a lot of work. I mean, they gave it all those nice little twings and twangs that the Metroid Prime series has.
Mm-hmm. Things like the charge to draw in items for one.
Oh, well, I meant like musically, but yeah,
Oh.
they gave it that too.
Yeah. I mean, they've had 10 years. It's fair enough point.
Yeah, it's really sad because this is definitely a great homage to Metroid 2, and
Yeah.
got all that drama. So very
Yeah.
sad.
Protectionism at its finest.
Well, I mean, it is their game, and this is just fan work, but
Mm-hmm.
it is kind of sad because you see something like this get kind of crushed, and then there's really nothing that happens for the 30th anniversary.
Yeah. I mean, all we've had were a couple of 3DS releases, which were, from what I hear, relatively minor compared to what AM2R really kind of is.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Metroid is much more popular here in the West, and I'm
Than
presuming
it is in
yeah,
Japan.
So right now I'm seeing you fight the annoying armadillo boss.
Mm-hmm. Only a little step higher than the encounter in Fusion.
I mean, I felt like the bombing him into the electricity was always was kind of an annoying task. I mean,
Yeah.
granted I beat him on my first try, but it was just barely.
Yeah, the thing about it was
Like,
that it was a
pretty
bit...
demanding.
Yeah, it
pretty
was a bit inconsistent because, you know, since it's, you know, not based in, you know, some sort of assembly language, there's a lot more to be working with, including, like, a proper physics engine. And so, Armadillo
Well, the
goes
benefit of
bouncing
having
about.
that the benefit of having a proper physics engine, though, is when things explode, you get all those little shards. And
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
and that's one of the things I really love about the Castlevanias, is that they make all of the enemies feel really awesome when you kill them. They're very dramatic.
Yeah,
Also,
Castlevania Symphony of the Night did that pretty well.
Yeah, but, you know, Aria of Sorrow and Order of Ecclesia did it. But speaking of those games, since Konami has decided to pretty much give all their money to the gangsters of the Yakuza and only make pachinko games, we're probably not going to see a proper Castlevania for a long time.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Really, all we have left is, you know, what lays in the future, which is basically every other developer out there, and we've yet to see them put out their works, basically. You will excuse my delirious kind of state.
It's that cold medicine goes right to your head. Replaces the head cold with, you know, medicinal head state.
Then again, I've always been like this when it comes to streaming, because I haven't had much opportunities to do much streaming. I mean, my last real stream.
Oh, go ahead.
My last real stream was a 6-hour marathon following after being, you know, 18 hours of being awake in a redesign race. That was madness. And you know what I'm talking about.
I would imagine that 6 hours of streaming is probably madness.
Well, it was madness on top of the fact that I was up for the 18 hours prior to that stream. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that just 6 hours of playing a video game straight, unless you're like super into it, even if you are super into it, it's very exhausting. I mean, kind of made that mistake when I was playing Dark Souls 3 recently. Pretty close to the end. I mean, got one of the 4 major bosses left, and it's a doozy.
That Metroid wasn't too bad, but of course, it could always be a lot better.
Yeah, they kind of have a weird pattern, the Metroids.
Yeah.
Because you can sometimes, I mean, it's all about getting them positioned correctly. But I suppose that is similar to the original Metroid 2, in that if they were out of position, they were really annoying. but if they weren't, they could be just kind of a joke.
It's like, chances are... No. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know, overall, I really like AM2R, but, well, actually, it's AM2R. But, biggest problem I have is that at the end, you have to fight 4 Omega Metroids in a row, and it's just, they're not fun to fight, and the problem is that, like, it's all the same fight except for the first one, which is which has a different room layout. Just didn't feel very fun to me, or very inspired, and I feel like that's kind of sad. But that's really, like, that and the section right after it, which is just kind of empty. That's really, like, my only complaints with this game. I think otherwise it's really well made, the level layouts are great, all of the added content is amazing, and, you know, for one, like, it's definitely a project of love, but man, those Omega Metroids,
yep,
they're really rough.
They're a pain in the butt.
They're just not fun to fight, in my opinion, because you have to aim for this really annoying to hit weak point, and you have to kind of jump and shoot at the same time. So it's like this really finicky thing.
Yeah, it's not too bad in version 1.1, since I believe the hitboxes were made quite a bit bigger.
I do like the goofy little legs that stick out of the Beta Metroids.
I think they're called Zeta Metroids, I think, or something. I'm not sure which ones.
I thought
Gamma
they were
Metroids. They're Gamma Metroids.
Oh, is it Alpha, Gamma, Zeta, Omega?
I think so. I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to the lore as
well,
that
to
exchange
be fair,
of words
like,
was.
you know, Metroid 2 might as well, like, not have happened because it's kind of lore breaking in itself. I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of funny that it's just, well, and then Samus killed every Metroid in the galaxy, and thus our titular creature is now gone.
Well, I suppose that is minorly plausible, if only from the perspective that, you know, humans haven't gone any further from Earth, really. And we've only gone as far as the moon, insofar as leaving Earth. It is a bit far-fetched, though, how...
Well, it's like one person going over and, like, deciding, you know what? Fuck red coyotes. I'm gonna kill every red coyote I can find, and I will make them extinct, personally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration. And to be fair, like, you know, Samus does destroy entire planets, so, you know, what chance has a single species got?
Yeah. What I find about this game is that, you know, the sense of scale is certainly, you know, comparable to a continent, but then again, it wouldn't be exactly suitable for Metroid to be set on, you know, a planet where it is literally the size of a planet like No Man's Sky or something. Because it'd just take forever to do everything.
Well, as TV Tropes says, and I find that this is a pretty good one to cite, sci-fi writers have no sense of scale. And I think that sometimes it can really suffer, but, you know, they want to tell the great journey in space, but the problem is that, you know, the major islands are going to be planets, and the issue is planets are really, really, really big.
Yeah,
I think I probably could put in a few more realies, but, you know, for the sake of time.
Yeah. It's just like the fact that, you know, space, there is a lot of empty space, of nothingness. So, it's like one line in movies, like something to the effect of, oh, we are 65 million miles away from Earth. And it's like, no, that's like Jupiter or something. I can't remember where it's from, but it just goes to
I'm just thinking
tell
back
us
to
about how far we are.
I would go over and cite the lines of Douglas Adams in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Space is really, really, really big. You think it's really big to go over and, you know, take a journey from your mum's to the grocery store, but that's peanuts to space.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's one show, the New Adventures of Voltron.
I've not heard of that one.
Yeah, it was. It's made by the same people who made Avatar: The Last Air. Well, it's animated by the same crew, and story done by the same people who've done Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. And you can kind of see that, but it kind of suffers from that, sci-fi writers don't have the sense of scale because, oh no, we're on this living planet and it's all about to crumble and fall apart in an hour, and it's just like, it's just kind of silly.
Yeah.
We have to evacuate the entire planet in an hour, and we don't have time for that. It's just kind of one of those things that it's kind of silly.
I'm fighting Big Bird Man.
Big Bird. That was a pretty awesome fight.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool fight.
That's one of the few fights I really think that has ever really used the space jump and utilized it in a really effective way. I think, and really like built the fight with the space jump in mind.
Because there wasn't any fight at all in the original. And Metroid Fusion was really weird with regards to space jump fights.
Well, they just didn't really use it. The room was too small for you to usually use it, or they didn't really intend for you to use it. Like, a good example is when you refight Box Robot, or whatever his name is. The Securitron.
Birdman's dead. He's one of my more favorite bosses of this game.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I feel like he's a very good boss fight. I didn't really like the big robot ball as much, but he's a lot of fun. I think it's mainly because I think one big issue I could think about with some of the enemies in this game is that a lot of them don't really have very intelligent patterns or design, because they end up just kind of mindlessly coming at you.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of like crawlers.
While it might make them hard, it's kind of annoying because it's not really a good pattern. You kind of see it a lot with the Metroids. Granted, that's how the original game is, but I think it's kind of flimsy as an excuse. But
yeah, what I seem to detect a lot about this is that the enemies tend to kind of just lazily drag themselves towards you.
But, Metroid has a series, especially the 2D ones, except for probably Fusion, where the damage is just ridiculously high in that game, so mistakes are very punishing. Except for Fusion, I think that a lot of enemies are really not that threatening in the Metroid games.
Yeah.
But,
here in AM2R, it's enemies tend to be a lot more annoying than painful. Except for the Metroids.
Yeah, they're not too bad. They're annoying. I think overall, it's still, really a solid experience overall. This is that, I could see a lot of parts in this that would make sense, if Nintendo or if, a full game was to be re-released, if they were to make, basically
something
remake,
like this.
Yeah, I could definitely see Nintendo themselves making something in a similar vein to this, and that's what I think. And that's where I think it's really successful. Yeah, there's a few amateurish things, but that's to be expected. It's made by one guy in his free time for 5 years.
And it was a decade.
It was even longer. I thought it was 5 years.
Yeah, it definitely shows in some spots.
my first run, I didn't even get the wave beam.
Yeah, that one is probably one of the more easier ones to miss out on, because it's slightly hidden out of the way, but you're in the moment because of the robots jumping towards you.
I just didn't think to go to the left on that. Like, I didn't think to check above. I thought that it would loop around, so I didn't bother checking above that bombable passage. This does remind me that I do need to go back and replay the Prime games one of these days. It's been a very long time since I've played those, and I enjoyed them a lot.
Yeah. I've never really been Say again?
They kind of had some really, like, bullet spongy enemies where it's just you had to shoot them for forever.
Yeah, I've never really played many of the Primes. I don't think I've really finished one properly. But that's mainly because of the fact that I never got into the GameCube. Because I was, you know, a kid.
Yeah, that'll happen. I mean, you're colored by the times you grew up in. Just, as a kid, like, you know, it's just, you might have not had the system. So.
Yep. I mean, we had the original Xbox, but that's hardly anything.
Yeah, with that Halo. When it was novel to just go over and play on Blood Gulch with, you know, 7 other people.
Yeah, except for the fact that we never got Xbox Live, so it was just me and myself.
Well, I mean, I hope you had a lot of good times with Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, and Morrowind.
We had Abe's Odyssey, alright, but that was, like, on the original PlayStation.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people got it for the Xbox.
I'm
trying to think, like, besides Halo and Halo 2, what else was there on the vanilla box?
Well, the one that I had, you know, it came with a game bundle, as game bundles typically do, but it was this... Yeah, it was certainly set the stage for a lot more better car games, including Midtown Madness. Free, I think. I played that thing for hours.
Never really got into the car games or things like the sports series stuff and the FIFA stuff, you know?
Yeah, Midtown Madness was more of one of those crazy, just drive around and smash into things. Kind of like the Driver series, but...
Kind of like the Burnout series?
I suppose so, but, you know, it was an open world city, except you could never get out of your car.
You have all the freedom in the world, but you are only cars.
I mean, I played it so much to the point that I found in both, you know, Midtown Madness had 2 cities, which was Paris and Washington DC, and I found, like, a hole in the world where you could just fall out, and I just, like, spent hours going to the same place and just dropping the car into an endless void until the game forced you back inside it.
We gotta go. To go where no car has gone before.
Into the mindless void.
Into the void. Into, you know, just the beyond angled space itself. Just drive right in.
Yep. That's how it was. At least for me.
Well, you know, as a kid, you know, you'll just play games and, like, go mindlessly explore deep into them. Like, you know, I know that's how it was with, like, Oblivion and stuff like that.
Yeah, these days I'm a bit more, what's the word? Impatient. I just,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a similar way to. I mean, I guess that's the reason why a lot of people play Minecraft, or probably still do, 3 years ago. Um, it's that drive. You never know what's around the corner. Although I guess the problem is now that I'm older, I kind of realize like, well, I mean, you know, once you go over and you get that nice, you know, cheese block armor, there's really not much else. I mean, I guess you can make crazy stuff, and that's what my brother has done, and he's in high school.
Mm.
But
Yeah, it's kind of that feeling. It's like once you've seen one, you've seen them all.
you get to the jumping robot part. This is
Yep.
kind of a goofy little part.
It's a nice break in gameplay. Just coming up on super missiles.
It is a pretty interesting part. I mean, it is unique. It's kind of like one of those goofy things that they'd like occasionally throw in like the Prime games or something.
Like the
Just love how
gimmicky
he
motion
just drops
controls.
on. Well, like not like the motion controls, but like, you know, kind of like a goofy like mini game-esque part.
Mm.
But a lot of people hate on motion controls, and I actually don't mind them too much. I feel like in Prime 3, they actually use it pretty effectively. I mean, but I've always felt like the Wiimote has been it's been pretty effective for just making kind of a light gun.
Mm.
But as long as there's it's like there's a decent amount of help, and you know it's utilized properly, then it's actually pretty fun. But I feel like a lot of people, they despise them, so I know I'm in the minority when it comes to this opinion.
Yeah, I mean the default Wii remote is not actually that great regarding motion controls. Who would have thought? Because I was watching this game being played. It was like a Japanese cat game of some sort that never made it outside Japan, and it was like there was all these kinds of intricate games where it's like, oh, move the controller like this, but really all you had to do was swing the remote around, flailing randomly. It was
Well,
really
I mean, all it is it's a bunch of. I mean, it's a bunch of very sensitive slide weights, is what it is. But
yeah,
so
the
that's
Wii
why,
Motion Plus, from what I hear, actually added a proper gyroscope to the controller.
Yeah. It's kind of one of the things that it is. The motion controls are kind of what makes a lot of people feel like Skyward Sword is worst Zelda. I mean, even though I think like aesthetically it's pretty amazing. But that's that. I mean, I know my brother Michael, my older brother, he struggled with the motion controls, but I think it's mainly because like I think that the problem is they don't feel right. So the issue is you have to kind of feel the controller rather than the controller should be responding to you. I mean, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think I
feel the controller.
Understand what you mean.
I mean, I do have to say that I really like WarioWare Touched. That game, or Smooth Moves, sorry, not Touched. That's the one for the DS.
Yeah.
Smooth Moves, the one for the Wii. I think it's great. It's just that there's a few mini games where it's just like the game where it's just they're not that good, and then it's just, oh well, I guess I lose this one. So, and it's really a shame because it's like the ones that work well are pretty great. So.
So now it's time to make our exit back into the main chamber and go find some Metroids.
Is it just me? I never, like, when it comes to the music in this game, is it just me? I never heard the main theme of Metroid 2 playing, or if it is, it's not, like, it's a little Like the original melody's a little lost. The one where you're in the main chasm. Basically,
I mean the main caverns.
Yeah. Is it just me? Like it didn't really seem like. I mean, I don't know nothing about music, so.
Well, I can definitely recognize where the theme comes from, because, you know, it was in the original, at least that part, but I'm not really sure exactly what you would mean by that.
I don't know, it's just the theme, you know, you know, the kind of that heroic little ditty. I think I'd probably be better to just link it to you rather than try doing terrible imitations of hit music.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one that you have is in the game, but who knows? I might be wrong on that count, because I remember playing the original, you know, dealing with the very, very sucky controls of the Game Boy and Samus in general.
Well, I mean, besides like the Wario Land and Mario Land games, like there's not a huge library on the Game Boy. I mean, I guess there's Link to the Past too, but you know that's a system that is really constrained by hardware. So. Ah, you can't kill the stupid Metroids of the Shine Spark. I was really disappointed to find that out in that exact same spot.
I was completely overlooking the YouTube chat in its entirety. I didn't even realize we had a second viewer. Hello. I have played through this before.
He asked that question. He asked that question like
15 minutes ago, 20?
like 30 minutes ago.
Oh, that's too bad.
Okay. It says only one's watching, so I think I'm the only one watching it so far. But it seems like the stream's doing pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, audio balance is good.
Doesn't seem like it's stuttering that good.
Yeah, I mean, we're running on YouTube infrastructure. They're probably, it's like, if live streaming is gonna be, like, a specialization, YouTube would probably have it down to a T.
I don't know. I mean, you know, YouTube makes... Just because it's the biggest doesn't mean it's necessarily doing something correct. I mean, just look at the way that they handled the comment section, so...
Yeah, that's a bit garbage.
Like, the fact that it actively promotes... that it promotes controversial topics. So if there's a lot of replies to a comment, then it will be upvoted and put at the very top. The problem is that if there's a topic that generates conversation, usually it's going to be a controversial topic. So, you know, if somebody says something that is extremely rude and unintelligent, like, this video is made of butts, you know, then, you know, generally it sparks a lot of replies, and you know, I'm being quite kind, because usually the comments are like...
Yeah, they're a lot
really
more toxic.
That people say about other people's mothers, and, you know, it's just this horrible thing where it's just this look into, you know, darkness and ignorance, and it's just, you know, it makes you just want to close your laptop or computer and then just walk away and just say to yourself, like, well, you know, there's a lot of beautiful things in the world, and the internet is not one of them. Just walk away from this terrible virtual paradise forever.
I mean, YouTube does get encoding down pretty well, because it's just so massively huge that it can afford to do it.
The infrastructure, but
mind you, the settings they actually use aren't all that great. Because, you know, you get lots of blocky artifacts and all that nonsense, as you do.
Yeah, that was something I was hearing about.
I mean, you'll see it a lot if you've watched any videos about Grand Theft Auto and its new racing mode recently. It's like, you just see someone race for a tunnel, and it's just, you just see the bitrate just get destroyed.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I've heard recently, is that there's basically a bitrate cap on the YouTube videos themselves, which is kind of a problem considering that some games which people are recording in high enough definitions basically doesn't display the game properly. And
Yeah, there was this
I've heard
video
that
like a few months ago. It's like this person called Tom Scott, who's like a vlogger discussion, and he's talking about how encoding stuff, and he just like he set off a fake confetti machine, and it's just like the video quality just drops to hell, because how the video encoder works is that it, you know, in order to use less space, you end up, you know, guessing where stuff moves, and by sacrificing that data, it's like when you try to estimate the motion of 1 billion particles on screen all at once, it just turns into blocky garbage.
Yeah, basically I understand it. It's a way to save memory, and I mean, it's a great trick to save memory, and you know, to help upload speeds and help all that stuff. It's just that the problem is it sacrifices video quality, and you know, that's a compromise they made, but it's a compromise that they might not necessarily have to make anymore, especially since it's become so large. But then again, there's other things too which YouTube has not handled properly, like the way that ownership is done.
Yeah, so, it's a bit of a messy subject there.
Well, I mean, it's a huge thing, but it's also got problems. So, and the only reason I say, you know, like why it's kind of like the biggest thing and the thing that's most readily available. So,
yeah,
that's why we use it. It's, you know, it's got its issues, but it does what it does a lot better than
anything else out there. I mean, it's like, do you go to dailymotion.com?
Yeah, do you go to Dailymotion? No. Well, if you want to go find you know, those original Dota 1 tournaments, you know, you want to go see those recordings, that's where you go, but...
Do you want to go to Vimeo? It's like, Vimeo has a no gaming content stance, so... Whatever.
Obviously, you go to Nico Nico. I jest. You know, but Nico Nico does have one stroke of genius, which I do have to say, that YouTube does not. And that is the fact that the comments are streamed directly on top of the video, which I think is...
Yeah, I think I saw
It's a terribly abusable thing.
I think I saw a tool-assisted speedrun recently. I think it was like some kind of Olympics game. And it's like, there's just literally... There's words just all over the screen scrolling from right to left. It's like...
There was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of laughter, a lot of people really confused. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it was.
That tool-assisted speedrun, that's basically Satima, the One Punch Man at the Olympics.
Want to run backwards? Of course you can. Want to swim backwards? Why not?
Swim backwards? Sure. Impale the invading aliens with your spear. Just Lance of Longinus, those aliens. Just jump 100,000 miles into the sky. Or actually, it's not 100,000. He jumped 98 miles into the sky.
Yep. Don't forget to throw your discus into the crowd. What was it, the shot put? I think it was. That was hilarious.
That video is pretty amazing, honestly.
It is.
Like, you know.
It shows the beauty of, you know, what people can do with with programming, and what people could do if they had the chance to input something every single frame.
Yep.
Huh.
It's a pretty awesome thing.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that always kind of bugged me in this secret passage here, because they give you Morph Ball, and they stick this section of crumbly blocks, this low-hanging crumbly block section, I completely forget that I have Spider Ball, and it just was.
Yeah.
It's just one of those
The game
things that I
doesn't
just
do a
completely
very
forget.
good job of reminding you that you have that. It's
Yeah,
like
just-
later on in the water plant or distribution center or however you call it, there's this other area where you can use Spider Ball to get through, but it's like it's far in between.
There's one section, I think it's the power tower, where there's this dark room, and to get out of it you pretty much have to use the Spider Ball. And yeah, you can imagine like me wandering around there back and forth looking for an exit, and then realizing, oh, I have the Spider Ball, I can just crawl out. I feel dumb.
Yep.
Yep. It's pretty great that, you know, the ecosystem and the population of Metroids is directly and linearly correlated with the lava levels on this planet. It's quite a bizarre thing, don't you think? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, biology finds a way, and like, there's plenty of strange things in biology.
Yeah.
Just
But
ask me.
Yeah, Metroids are a bit far-fetched when it comes to their influence over the local ecosystem.
It's not even lava either. It's just this weird acid lava thing.
That sets off earthquakes when they die for no particular reason whatsoever.
They're like,
Yeah.
you know, mythological catfish. They're able to sense, predict, and cause earthquakes.
Yeah. So anyway, it's probably about time for me to call it. My voice is just ending up more strained again. And this is pretty much the end as far as where I've scheduled it.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as voice goes, probably the thing I could recommend is to have a little bit of water nearby, and or just warm tea. Nothing like, you want to keep your throat slightly moisturized, but don't drink anything acidic or anything that's like super cold.
Yeah.
So don't drink something like coffee, or don't drink soda, because those are very acidic. They'll make your voice more raspy. But something like a light cup, like a warm cup of tea to relax your throat, and also, you know, keep it hydrated.
Yeah. This house has many boxes of tea that I have never tried, but hey, there's always a first time for everything.
I would imagine, you know, that there's plenty of tea in that country. I jest, but
But anyway, that about does it for this stream. Thanks for coming on.
well, I mean, I'm kind of glad I did. So
Right.
I should probably get around to doing these streams myself sometime soon. I kind of don't, because I'm using my laptop's inbuilt microphone, and I would rather wait until my brother Patrick is he is very smart but also very impulsive, and he's also even busier than both of those. And he decided to pick up a good microphone, so he's offering to let me borrow it / give it to me because he's not using it. So who knows?
We'll
I have
see.
to go for fiddle with these things.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of
I
a
have a
rite
lot-
of passage.
it's mainly so that I can go over and play games that I keep recommending to other people, and that they've never heard of before, or that are pretty decent. I'm a person who likes to go over and find the gems in the crowd, and it always bugs me when other folks are going to say something crap about a really good game, and it's just like, you don't know. You've never played mediocre games or really bad stuff. You're spoiled. You're spoiled, son.
Yep. Right.